Hello there. We've got a west-east divide across Europe at the moment with an area of high pressure through Western Europe keeping things pretty quiet. You can see that on the satellite picture. By contrast, a deep area of low pressure bringing some very windy weather where weather warnings remain in force, gale force gusts of winds here and some heavy rain and some mountain snow as well. Cold air behind it generally through Europe as that northerly wind takes over as well. So as we go through the day on Thursday, it'll be a combination of rain or hill snow moving its way through Turkey. Behind it is an improving picture for the Balkans after that very windy day through the middle of the week. Dry and settled across Italy, much of France and Spain and Portugal, but not the extreme heat that we had earlier on. Now, further north of that, a little more in the way of cloud around, a relatively quiet story here and a little bit cooler than it has been as well. Now, as we move towards Friday, we'll start to see some wetter weather gradually pushing towards the UK. That will eventually move its way into northern Portugal too. But ahead of it, it stays dry and quiet and not perhaps quite as cold. So this is the city forecast for the next 5 days. It'll be a stormy weekend to come across London and Paris, wet and windy at times, dry and settle for Madrid and Rome. Elsewhere, well, the cooler weather eases away and we will start to see more sunshine coming through. Hello there. A cold plunge of air descends across North America at the moment as far south as Texas. You can see that quite clearly on this air mass chart with the blues dipping their way steadily south. Ahead of it, we've still got some pretty warm air and a powerful jet stream driving an area of low pressure that's bringing some heavy rain. Now on the back edge there's going to be some snow, some heavy snow across parts of Oklahoma towards Illinois, and that could cause some issues. Behind it, high pressure builds, things a little bit quieter except for the Pacific Northwest. Yet again there's another area of low pressure bringing some wet weather, and on the leading edge with that higher ground some snow as well. So it'll be rain close to Vancouver along that coastline, and that pushes into parts of northern Oregon too. Into California, dry, settled and sunny as you would imagine, but you look at the snow and the drop in temperature as well across Vancouver. So San Francisco into the high teens. Now across the eastern seaboard, dry on Wednesday for New York and Washington, but that weather front is going to continue to push its way steadily east. It'll bring some heavy rain into parts of Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, and as I say, moving out of the Mississippi Valley as well. So ahead of that, it stays dry, settled and warm with it, but there will be some wet weather moving its way towards New York. Hello there. Plenty to talk about in South America. Let's start off with a satellite picture where I can point out a frontal system that's moving through Argentina at the moment. That's going to bring some heavy rain. Behind it, cooler air, but up and to the north, the heat of the day showers will develop once again, and the heaviest, most widespread showers, some of them really quite intense, will be across Brazil. Now further north of that, it's a drier story across Venezuela and Colombia than it can be at this time of year. It's also warmer with 31 degrees expected into Caracas. There's those sharper showers. Don't forget the brighter greens denoting the intensity of the rainfall, extending all the way down into Rio de Janeiro as well. Then there's that weather front into Argentina, 32 degrees into Buenos Aires, but cooler behind it with a little more cloud here. Now this is the story over the next few days. Rio de Janeiro will see those showers easing, an improving picture into the weekend. Buenos Aires seeing those temperatures fall away once that front clears through. Mexico will have a few showers along that west coast, but largely fine and quiet. That extends through the Yucatan Peninsula down into Central America as well. The Caribbean, dry, settled and sunny. Showers very isolated indeed, and they will be fleeting, so they'll ease through quite quickly and there'll be decent spells of sunshine. So continuing with that theme, dry and settled with a few sharper showers perhaps into Havana, Cuba. Hello there. A forecast for the Middle East coming up shortly. But first of all, let's start off in Africa, where you can see on the satellite picture the shower cloud really stretching across parts of Angola, Zambia and into northern Mozambique as well. That's going to be the story over the next few days, the showers here. There is a weak weather front that's just brushing to the south of Cape Town. It will drift its way steadily east and take some outbreaks of showers here away, and so it's an improving weather story. To the north, it's fine, settled and quiet, although it could be a bit on the breezy side with a storm storm that's moving its way through the eastern half of the Mediterranean. So this is the story over the next few days. Once that front's cleared through, it's an improving weather story across Cape Town, getting a little warmer as well towards the weekend. Elsewhere, we'll pick up a few showers through Kinshasa and Lusaka, more widespread here. Now, moving over to the Middle East, that area of low pressure through the Mediterranean will continue to bring some rain and some mountain snow across Turkey. That will gradually move towards Lebanon. And then elsewhere, it's largely fine and quiet with light winds. Fog could be an issue across United Arab Emirates first thing in the morning. But as that area of low pressure continues to drift its way steadily eastwards, we'll start to see the winds picking up over the next few days. A localised shamal could develop. But this is the city forecast for the next few days. Dry, settled and sunny for all. Hello there. Let's take a look at the weather forecast then for South Asia. Relatively quiet conditions at the moment, as you pretty much expect, with clear skies by day. That's allowing for some fog to form up into the northwest, and some of that has been causing some travel disruptions. Similar story is expected over the next couple of days. There's an area of low pressure that's just drifting its way through northeastern states and producing a little more in the way of rain, but it will drift off, as you can see quite clearly, through the Bay of Bengal. So a slow improvement as we go through Thursday into Friday. So that's the story generally. I'll come back to it in just a moment. Let's move over to Central Asia, where we are seeing a good deal of fine weather, but things will turn noticeably colder into Kazakhstan, and we will see some snow. Now that's going to extend its way steadily southwards over the next couple of days, and you'll see that in the city forecast coming up shortly. But for Pakistan and northern India, fine and quiet. Fog, as I say, an issue first thing. Then we run down through India. It's blue sky, sunshine, warmth, those temperatures peaking into the low 30s. There's those showers affecting perhaps parts of Orissa over the next few days. So our city forecast shows a very similar story. Could pick up a few isolated showers into Sri Lanka from the weekend onwards, but it's the colder air that's spilling out of Kazakhstan that's going to be noticeable. Some snow is likely. That will drift its way steadily south, a drop in temperature and some rain for Tashkent. Hello there. A detailed forecast for Australia and New Zealand coming up shortly, but I just want to start off with the satellite picture across northwest Australia and point out there's a potential here for a storm to develop towards a cyclone, and if that happens, it'll be Damien. May well have an impact as we move towards the weekend. Come back to that in just a moment. Let's start off though across Asia, where we've seen recent stormy weather easing away from Japan. Still pretty chilly at the moment, but it's going to get noticeably milder. Similar story into northern China as well. Heavy rain through Shanghai down into Hong Kong, set to continue for the next few days. Fine and dry for Thailand and Vietnam. But you can see the difference with the feel of the weather for Osaka and Beijing, getting noticeably milder, drier with more sunshine as we move into the weekend. Now there's that potential for a storm I was talking about, but across the east coast of Australia, well, we've got some rain here, some of it quite heavy, and that will gradually sink its way steadily southwards. Welcome news with the wildfire issues that we've been seeing over here. And at the same time, it's an improving story for New Zealand. Yes, it's a drier story across the south. A recent front eases away to the north, and some of that heat eases too. So it'll be a little more calmer with temperatures at around 22 degrees. But there's the heavy rain to Sydney over the next 5 days. Take care.